Signing on for today's lesson. So, the quote for today: think about what you're thinking about. And this is one that I hope I hope all of them will help you, but this is one I hope will keep you from getting in trouble, like letting your thoughts get you in trouble. I guess I'll put it that way. So, have you ever been in a situation where you're anticipating, let's say, a meeting with somebody, perhaps a confrontation with somebody, something that you're just perhaps not really looking forward to, but you know it needs to happen? Or maybe someone says something about you and you're going to confront them about it, or you're going to have a meeting at work and you got all these thoughts going on in your head about what's going to happen in the meeting. And you know how we have a tendency as humans to just kind of have this whole conversation with ourselves when nobody else is around. Things like, well, I know she had better not say anything to me because if she says something to me, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And we go off in our head to this other person. Or, he looked at me sideways and I'm going to tell him the next time he looks at me that way, blah, 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 blah. We go through all this stuff. And we just have this rolling reel in our mind of all these thoughts and all these things that we're going to say to somebody, and we're going to tell them this, we're going to tell them that. And it's all about stuff that hasn't even happened yet and things that could potentially not happen. And by the time we get through all of this, running all these messages through our heads, we've got ourselves all worked up about something that hasn't even occurred. And then you find yourself, you get to the situation, and oftentimes the situation turns out not to be what you thought it was going to be. It turns out to be a different perspective than what you expected. And all of this stuff you got yourself all worked up about in your mind, all of these thoughts you let take over were because of a situation that never ever occurred and then never actually would occur. And so if we're not careful, we get all worked up and just our thoughts just kind of take over. And that saying that used to people used to say, and I don't use profanity and I'm not going to start now, but people say, you would let your mouth write a check that your rear end couldn't pay. And sometimes that's what we do with our thoughts. We get all worked up in our mind about something and it doesn't even come to pass. So you've now frustrated yourself. You're all worked up, you're aggravated, agitated in the end for absolutely nothing. So when I say think about what you're thinking about, the next time you go off on this thought, let's call it a thought spiral about something that hasn't even happened, stop yourself. Self, what are you thinking about? Why am I getting all worked up and all riled up for something that hasn't even occurred? So take the time in the course of your day to think about what you're thinking about so that you don't land yourself in a situation writing a check, your thoughts writing a check that your rear end can't pay. Think about what you're thinking about and don't be so quick to jump on that thought spiral, okay? So that's the lesson for today. Think about what you're thinking about. Signing off with my hashtag life lessons, hashtag listen and learn, hashtag words of wisdom. Think about what you're thinking about. Signing off.